Hyello, hyello. Soul fam. How's it going? Why is there feedback? It's crazy. Hold on. Sorry, weird tech thing. Deadass. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. Hi. Interesting start. It's been a while since I have come on a YouTube live. Probably since like last year, if I'm not mistaken, unless it was like hella early 2025. So this is now going to be like a new thing-a-lang that I am hoping to implement most, if not basically all Sundays. Sundays are devoted to the Soul Fam. So I do hope that y'all are able to tune in once in a while. On that note, for those of y'all who are new and have no idea who I is, I'm Kat Nicoletta Monroe. It's very nice to meet you. I am a natural born psychic medium, and I'm here to just live out my purpose. What the fuck can I say? Hello, Rhiannon. How you doing, gorgeous? Good morning to you, baby. Good morning, good morning. I figured by the time people wake up, by the time people get notifications and all, I can just chit chat about a little something else. In the meantime, again, just to accumulate other people. And then we're going to do some free readings. I'm happy to offer up some insight, clarity for anyone who may need it. I will do as many readings as I am energetically able. So please be patient, be kind, and yeah, let's get on our way. Something that has come to my perspective, my level of awareness. Not only was this a prediction at first, but witnessing it now play out more and more, I'm wondering if y'all notice it too. And what I'm referring to is the really big swap that's happening within the spiritual community. Allow me to expand. There are many tarot readers, spiritual coaches, such of the sort, right? People who work in the occult, in spirituality, because of course there are so many variations of this craft and this practice, but a lot of people now are reprioritizing, are shifting how it is that they show up. So you may notice, if not already, some of your favorite teachers, gurus, coaches, whatever it is that they refer to themselves as, and you to them respectfully, they might just be stepping down. You will then notice new faces in the more public facing sphere. Now, people leaving, right? Those whom are leaving the practice of spirituality in the public eye may just be doing so on social media. I am noticing a lot of practitioners tend to get off the internet and focus more on their community, which I think is absolutely lovely. Others are stepping down due to technology and the uprise of that. I'm talking about ChatGPT, AI, any other sort of, I guess, like communication bots and shit, because that is a big, dare I say, competitor. I'm iffy about that sentence there, just based on my own opinion about it, but perhaps maybe we can save like a whole AI discussion to another day, like next week. Maybe next Sunday we'll talk all about it, because I'd love to hear your take on it all too. I know it's quite split between a lot of people, but focusing on the topic at hand here, there's a lot of people that are leaving the spiritual sphere, community, etc., due to a change in denomination, for example. You're going to be noticing this a hell of a lot. It's already been happening, but at a much more grand scale. People going from spirituality to a religion. Now, that religion could vary based on, their own choice and all. You might notice also a lot of people who used to practice some form of religious whatever, now leaving and either going agnostic or into more of a spiritual kind of a thing. There could be changes in denomination generally. Let's say you could be going from Christian to Muslim, as an example, right? I'm sorry, is that a religion? Did I just I think it's Islamic. I'm so sorry. I'm kind of in the middle of channeling here, so I don't want to disrespect anybody. Nevertheless, hopefully you guys understand what it is that I'm saying here, right? So pay attention to that. Because furthermore, what this is going to present is a new narrative, a new perspective to ourselves, to community, to information and all. And we really got to focus right now on what is true to ourselves. Perhaps maybe it's this whole Pluto and Aquarius thing. Now, I'm not an astrologer, so I don't want to focus too much on that, but there are some interesting commonalities that I've noticed between astrology and, observations and things that are going on now on a collective energetic field here. It could be Pluto and Aquarius that has us all kind of niched down into our own little communities, which then equal a greater whole. It's taking on a much more community route in that way. We want to kind of center ourselves around people, belief systems that adhere to our own narratives and our own biases. Could we call this sorry, my brain went somewhere else. It could be cognitive bias, meaning that you're just going to surround yourself with people, information, and things that just continue to feed into a perspective and narrative that you already have, right? And you're not really allowing other opinions in there. It could be quite condensed for some people. Hopefully I'm making sense here. What I'm saying ultimately is I believe that a lot of people are going to be looking for communities where they can behave more extremely with their beliefs. And could this just be around spirituality and religion and all? No. I think it will stream into politics, which is huge right now. Could come down to, you're making sense. Thank you. Oh my God. When I'm channeling and I'm doing this all publicly and shit too, sometimes I definitely do doubt myself. The whole being human thing. Anyways, thanks. There just might be more extreme takes, So going back to what it is about the content that we're going to be consuming, again, spiritually, publicly, we're really going to have to be using our discernment. Some people could be acting out of ego and manipulation. You're going to be noticing a lot of people calling themselves the next or the Messiah and stuff like that, the prophet, maybe Jesus. Maybe they believe that they're Jesus. I think we're going to have a lot of Jesus's people, or at least people saying that they're a descendant of, or something along those lines. There's also one dude with a big beard that comes to mind. Maybe that doesn't really narrow it down, but yeah, he would be one of them. But there's just going to be a lot. I'm sorry, I don't know his name for a reason, but pay attention. Okay. Use your discernment. Also understand that a lot of spiritual propaganda will also be spread out through things like AI. The more that we use things like ChatGPT, especially if we're talking about spirituality and therapy and all of that, right? Whether we're using it as a partner in thought, or if we're literally using it as a therapist, right? I know a lot of people use it in a multitude of different ways. I haven't used it once yet, to be completely honest with you. I haven't at all yet had a need. I'm saying yet because I don't know, maybe I will use it eventually, but I haven't once crossed my mind to be like, let me ask ChatGPT. I don't know. Anyways, we have to pay attention to any sort of spiritual propaganda and manipulation that could be fed through things that are not exactly sentient. Okay. As much as it could be related and allow the perception of an emotional connection. I'm talking about like using things like AI and stuff. We just have to use our discernment not to fall down the rabbit hole too much in order for us to fall victim into psychosis, for example, right? Where we're taking our beliefs a little bit too far and making it a reality that respectfully doesn't exist, right? Be wary, because now there is a huge informational swap. Going back to people whom are choosing to leave spirituality right now, again, more public facing, and let's say they're not getting off of the internet, but rather in their community, right? Let's say like they're not doing any of that. They're completely saying, I'm quitting my practice. I'm not doing any more readings. I'm not, by the way, I'm still here. I'm doing that. Yeah, we'll talk about me later. It's not about me right now. But people whom are stepping down can be stepping down again to serve a community off the internet. They could be healing. I've noticed that many people have tired themselves out, maybe overgiven themselves to their community, exasperated their energy in such way. I know that a lot of okay, I'm going to speak as someone whom is actually intuitive and not doing this as like a grift or anything. I mean, y'all can believe whatever the fuck you want, whatever, but like as a legit person out here, those whom are doing it out of their pure of heart, this exhausts us. You know, it's so much different doing it on a public facing level, like on social medias and things like that, on lives. And of course, in one-on-ones, it's not just like some sort of like carnival trick, you know. It does take a lot. And that being said, it's reaped a toll on a lot of us in this game, you know. And they're going inwards. They're reprioritizing themselves. They're finding something that aligns more to themselves, whatever that may be, a new hobby, a craft. And that's not to say that they weren't ever real in their practice too, because on the flip side, there are, of course, a lot of people whom perhaps maybe were doing this as a grift, right? And they were false prophets or whatever names we want to call them. I don't know. They could be stepping down because, well, their time is up. They're getting called out. There's going to be a lot of prove it type of things happening in the collective right now because we want to know, number one, are you human? Are you legit? And are you here to grift and be a scam, right? And on that note, a lot of those scammers are stepping down because they're being called out, right? Like the grift no longer adrift. But there are a lot of people whom have served the community wholly, purely. And I want to specify that because just because you're noticing people step down doesn't mean that they're no longer like true teachers or things like that. I've been seeing that narrative happen a lot where it's like the people who can't handle the heat or that aren't really truly in this thing to like, yeah, like they're false, they're fake. And stop. Like sometimes a chapter ends for a reason for people. How many times have you changed something in your life? Hopefully the answer is a lot. Personally speaking, I've done a lot of things differently that I was like, I used to be like this and I don't do that anymore, right? And vice versa. You pick up new hobbies and new things. Sometimes you notice where perhaps maybe you're overgiving, you are exasperated, okay? And you gotta take care of yourself. Because when we are also using our energy so much, especially to serve the other, we kind of tend to forget about ourselves, which is why I preach a lot to my clients and my patrons alike to take care of yourself and then pour from the remaining energy, as opposed to overpouring yourself so much that you are literally an empty, dry ass cup. You know, metaphorically speaking here, but hopefully y'all are catching my drift here. They need a break, which is great because it will then allow people to step up, right? So to those of y'all whom, goosebumps in, have been feeling ready to serve, y'all are being ramped up and fired up by what's going on in the world. And you're feeling pumped up, like you want to help and you want to share. Baby, now is that time to step up, because there is, like, for lack of better descriptions here, like a tsunami wave of energy coming in to pick up and carry the new leaders, the new voices, the new innovators, the new sharers of information, of connection and all, right? And it's no longer really going to be like guru style. It's going to be like just very powerful human connections that are also very intuitive. I think that those whom are going to be more in the spotlight now are going to be leading through authenticity, through, of course, their intuition. Again, testing their legitimacy and all, right? There are people whom have feared being perceived by others, whether it's like a past life thing, because, like, I mean, people talk about that a lot too. They're like, it's because I was a witch in a past life and burnt and like blah, blah, blah. I tend to focus on like this life, right? Past life and, like, you know, future self kind of concepts are like amazing. I love them. But on a more grounded level, there might be some fears of really truly expressing yourself that have and are being shed in order for you to step forward into the light and lead. And I'm not saying that you got to lead, like, you know, a bunch of different people. Again, humbly speaking here, if you're being pulled to share art, to share your world, to start up your world, I meant to say your words, to help guide people and be connected to them, now's that time. Step forward, okay? People are stepping down for another wave to step on in. And that's going to continue to happen for the next while. I definitely want to say at least within the next year. I believe that there are a few placements in astrology. Saturn, definitely. Saturn is currently in Aries until I think September 1st, because it's going to be going retrograde. Then it's going to touch base in Pisces until, hold on, do I have notes on this? I think I do. I set myself up. Fuck yeah. I love when I do that. Saturn will be retrograde in Pisces September 1st until November 27th. After November 27th, it's going to be back in Aries for 3 years. The reason why I'm picking up Saturn in Aries, I definitely think that this particular energetic dynamic with the collective is going to kind of ramp up and intensify that extreme faith, that extreme belief, right? Kind of what I was alluding to before, where it's like, we really got to be careful. Because we just might be very strong in our opinions and our need for like the community that agrees with that it just might snowball into manipulation and destruction and things like that. So yeah, I mean, we could prepare for that politically speaking. I'm just trying to keep this a little bit more light, I guess. And it's also going to solidify that more within ourselves, you know, and how is it that we really show up proactively, what beliefs we have tied into our source of initiation. Aries is the infant. Aries is the very first zodiac sign on the wheel, you know. That being said, it's going to be an impulsive time. When it comes to our belief system, Jupiter in Cancer, which is happening as of tomorrow, which is June 9th, as of me recording this and going live for like the next year, basically until July 1st, 2026. So that is also going to expand how it is that we perceive, plus anything else that's going on. Again, I mentioned I'm not an astrologer, but these are the kind of energetic connections that I'm making as far as there being that huge swap with internal beliefs and who and what it is that we're going to start seeing online, what we're going to be engaging with, what we're going to be craving as far as community. Some people are really going to want nothing to do with people more and more and more. I get that. Like I'm a hermit in that regard. I love being by myself. At the same time, I'm constantly connected with people. Okay. The internet is great for that. Oh, hello, Cal. Hi, it's nice to meet you too. I'm so sorry. I just saw your message right now. Hi, Daisha. Yay. Looking forward to what insights you and Spirit has. Let's vibe. I am excited. I'm going to be doing some readings in a little bit. But what do you guys feel or sense about what it is that I've been speaking about so far? If you've caught in a lot of it, have you been noticing a lot of these like deep belief switches and changes, whether it be online, whether it be within yourself? Let me know. Let me know, because there's a really big shift and reprioritization on a very deep spiritual collective level. And I honestly think that it comes down to so much of what is happening in the world on a much grander scale. Again, I want to keep it light, but we're not going to negate the wars, the genocides, the horror that is happening in the world. Okay. Sorry, YouTube. There's certain words that I shouldn't say on here, but nevertheless, right? It's strengthening our belief and having us change and transition in some form or fashion. And it's happening very quickly. So I'm just saying that like a lot of causes play on these things. It's not just astrological, you know, like we're in a huge collective transformation and transition time right now. And that's going to be shifting us on a very molecular, spiritual, fucking energetic level for sure. Absolutely, you hit it right on the head. I've been blindsided by a lot of new things that have come about with people that I wasn't aware of spiritually. Ooh, I like that. Blindsided by a lot of new things. Can you expand on that a little bit more? Does that mean that you're intuitively picking things up from people that's like a new way of picking up information? Or am I interpreting that incorrectly from you? That's very interesting. By the way, if you like, subscribe. I mean, you have to subscribe in order to chat. That's my little caveat here. You know, a nice little energetic exchange. Plus, I love connecting with y'all. I really do. As for me, okay, I'm going to be selfish here for a second. And Daisha, if you feel like sharing, if you don't, that's totally fine too. About me here, I am going to be showing up on more lives. I want to connect with y'all more like this, right? I'm going to be going live on a multitude of different platforms, YouTube being one that's just on Sundays. I'm going to be doing TikTok, Instagram, probably simultaneously because, you know, two birds, one stone type of a thing. And also on Patreon, I do much more extended personal readings on Patreon. Every single person that is a VIP, so you must be a patron on Patreon. There is a free way to join too. But everyone kind of gets a ballot, and every week someone gets picked, and I read them to filth and give them whatever it is that they need. So those last about, I think the last one was like 20 something minutes. That was awesome. I love that. I thought it was a very strong and beautiful reading. So I'm excited to doing more. On here though, it's going to be a little bit shorter, but nevertheless, I want to offer y'all, I want to also prove to y'all I'm human. Okay. The real fucking deal, not to sound too cocky here, but like, you know, and if you are in my position, please show up and do something similar like that with your community. You know what I mean? Like, how can you show up now? Because more and more what's going to get pushed is technology and other such things, you know, and we're still needed. spiritual people, religious people. I'm not shitting on anybody's beliefs here, okay? Y'all are needed. And if you have no belief, that is a belief in itself, okay? Healthy connections, though. Let's not go too extreme, because that's, you know. I always thought I had good intuition, although people around me never seem to resonate or understand that. But as of recently, I found people around me who are also starting to feel the same. See, community switches. I like that. A reshift, a reorganization and reprioritization of community and energy. I like that for you. Probably uncomfortable, probably new. You're probably going to lose some friends, people whom you used to connect with. If not already, I feel like you're already kind of in the process of debating it or something. Cut them out. It's okay. That's a thing. We're allowed to change. Okay. And it does hurt when we start noticing people whom just no longer align with us. Sometimes we want to teach them and take them with us. But we can't change somebody, right? It always has to be their choice. We can show them the way, but how does that phrase go? You can bring a horse to a pond, but you can't force it to drink, or some sort of reiteration of those cliches. But yeah, no, I've been noticing that too. I've been feeling like I just want to step up even more. I refuse to go back to the corporate life. I left that for a reason. I feel like I am truly in my purpose and growing in that more and more. I'm still educating myself. I'm a student too. Okay. I'm definitely not someone that's going to sit here and be like, I know it all. Let me show you the way. Nah. I know my part and I do what I can with the people who resonate with me. And maybe, Daisha, that's something that you got to maybe like interpret in yourself too, you know, and understand that not everyone is going to vibe with you, because I get it. For most of my life, like when I say I'm a natural born psychic medium, like I was legitimately born this way. I've had connection to spirit. I'm primarily clairvoyant. I then kind of felt more into my clairaudience, just because like seeing kind of got a little bit spooky for me, especially as a kid. But it was difficult to be understood. It was criticized a lot. It was judged a lot. Kind of got, you know, shunned out of, well, Christians and Catholic community. They misinterpreted a lot of what it is that I do, what I can see and stuff like that. And I'm tired of being told I'm working with the devil or some bullshit like that. I don't like, okay. But these things kind of exist. Now I'm just sharing my own personal relation to this. I'm not saying that it's exactly the same for you there as well. But when I say I get it, like I get it. And continue to open up to those people who are starting to feel the same, right? Like start having these wacky conversations. Maybe put yourself out there a little bit more publicly, if not already. See what sticks. See what sticks. I think that level of communication, like using technology to our advantage and continuously be connected and all, is something that we got to do more of, to be honest. Like I'm at a crossroads at the moment, but trying to figure it out. Oh, fair. I'm not going to tell you what to do there, but I will say that some people are meant to go with you and some people are not. And maybe they will later, you know? It doesn't always have to be a complete finalization unless it's something that should be. If you catch my drift. I'm trying to like be more aware of what Instagram, or not Instagram, what am I on right now? YouTube allows me to say and whatnot. Because then this doesn't get shared out to people if I'm using words and phrases and stuff. I mean, I do anyways on my other channel, because if I'm like channeling into like politics and like world news, I'm obviously going to say certain shit. But Daisha, do you want a reading? I could read you. I'm kind of down to start reading people. I feel like I talked enough. Let me know. because I'm happy to. So what we can do, for a reading, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Am I allowed to pin this? Hell yeah. Let's go. All right, so those are my little things for a reading on here. I need your first name because that is something that I connect with. Daisha, I'm assuming, is that your first name? And a question. I'm answering one question. I know, I mean, depending. Just be kind with my energy and don't be too selfish with it, I guess is what I'm saying. Not just to you, Daisha. I'm just speaking very generally right now. Sometimes people get very excited for free readings and it's just like, hold up. But perhaps think of a question and I will happily channel for you and see if maybe there's something that I can assist you with. Oh, I would like that. I'm glad you're down for it too. When I channel, my nose tends to start doing this thing and I start itching it and I kind of feel like a crackhead when I do that. I also do this thing with my lips. These are just like what I call intuitive tics. So just ignore that. Amber, cool. Amber, do you have a question? Ryker, I got you after. Rhea, I can help you too. Cool, so I got 3 people lined up. Sorry. Hold on. I'm not gonna do that. Sorry. I got distracted there with another question. But Amber, I'm all yours intuitively right now. Am I right with the thought of my boyfriend currently entertaining others? Oh shit. I'm not going to say it out loud just because this is recorded, but would you mind also providing me with his first name too? It helps me to be able to connect to people. That would be really helpful. If not, that's okay too, because privacy and all. I get it. Okay, just say it. Just say it. All right, fine. Yeah, but it's not what you think. So yes, you are about entertainment. You're wrong about with whom and the scenarios and things like that. Which may be a little bit hard to hear. Entertaining is different than cheating. I'm not sensing it be a complete violation of your trust. I'm also hearing distance. Are you at a distance? Or you feel distant? It could be metaphoric. Distance has something to do with play. Maybe there's a third party person. Yeah. Intuitively speaking, what it is that I just mentioned is seeming most accurate. Now, okay, you don't know me. I don't know you. So do not take absolutely every single thing that I say without gathering eventual proof or perhaps maybe confronting him and all. I will say that your intuition is correct in picking up third party or parties. Again, entertaining is not equal to cheating. Now, people define cheating completely differently. So perhaps maybe that is right. I perceive it more as you're kissing, you're doing intercourse or whatever. I'm trying to be fucking, and then I go swearing anyways. Oh man. I'm just gonna be myself. Fuck it. Okay. Could be sex, could be kissing, something physical, could be also like overly emotional, like if he's turning to somebody else over me or whatever as the girlfriend. That to me is emotional cheating, right? So there are different lines here. I don't think that he has crossed it physically. I do think and believe I'm sensing like the entertainment thereof, even if it's just his thoughts. They're wandering. He's hot and cold. Okay. It's kind of your answer right there. Now, what you should do, because I hear that question coming through. So what now? Look, I'm big on communication, okay? Confronting. And then allow your intuition to take it from there. And I know that it's very easy for you, just based on our previous conversation too, to believe that you're going to be shut down or not really believed or lied to in a sense too. It's almost like, you're being so extra, et cetera, et cetera. Listen, you got to trust your own intuition in that regard too. Sometimes our intuition acts out of fear. Okay. I don't think that's the case though. You have, getting into your energy field here, this is something that's been, it's been happening for a while. Like, it's not like just like the last couple of weeks that like there's been some like weird behavior. Like, it's been a while. Like, I feel like you've made a mental list. There's a checklist going on, and you play on the scenario a little bit too much, respectfully. It just feels as though like you're going through it, that checklist, and being like, is it this? Is it this? Is this? Which then brings us back to full circle to the initial statement where it's like, yeah, you're right. You're picking this up. And you're wrong about the specificities because you've gone like 100 different directions with it. You know? Sometimes we kind of lose ourselves in the what ifs. Confront, have a mature conversation, decide from there. If someone really truly wants you, loves you, they will make it known to you. That's when we got to stop lying to ourselves. And I've been there. Okay, I've lied to myself, which is why I'm able to identify it now. You know, where is it that we are hoping someone is being truthful because we don't want to deal with any heartbreak? Or are we assuming too much where nothing is really happening either? Because we can kind of play on ourselves a little bit more too, you know? My throat keeps getting kind of like fucked with you. It's a difficult conversation. You don't want to have it. You're not going to want to hear what it is that you think you're going to hear. I don't really think it's going to be that bad. I think you should just have that conversation, to be honest, and not fight. Don't argue. Be coy. Be honest. This is what I've been picking up. This is what I've been sensing. You've been hot and cold. Is there something you want to tell me? No, I don't know what it is that you're talking about. Okay, let me make it simple. Are you cheating on me? Have you done something? You know, like sometimes like straight up questions. I don't care if you think you're going to be freaking crazy. If he responds to you in that kind of a way too, that's also your answer. What do you mean I'm crazy? You're different. And I want to know why. Is there somebody else? No, show me. You know how to love me. You've had me fall in love with you once. So what's different? What's changed? You know? And this is how you can do this nice little checkpoint with yourself to learn if this is something that you still want, if you need to start maybe showing up differently in order for him to maybe meet you differently too, because sometimes we allow things as women too much that just gives men the permission to do something different. You know, we praise poor behavior. I don't know, that doesn't sound very nice, but you know what I'm saying here. You know, so be strong. Look, again, I'm not going to tell you. I think he's got to tell you. But his intuition is going to tell you more than I believe his words could. So don't worry about that. Have the conversation. Have the conversation. I hope this helped. I'm going to disconnect from you with love. I didn't really have any cards here. I did pull out the strength card, by the way. Sorry, I said I didn't have any cards. I was like just shuffling, and then the strength card came out. So I love that. Leo might have something to do with it, but I really don't think it has much to do with signs. Maybe the dates. What dates are like Leo season? I don't know shit about astrology that much, though. Well, actually, I got to cut myself some slack. I do know a little bit. Anyways, Amber, thank you so much. I'm going to... Okay. Ryker, are you still here? Can chosen ones be both light and darkness, or only be of one side? Listen, I got a thing with the title. You're welcome. With the title Chosen One. For one, yes, I believe that it's a culmination. I am the type of spiritual believer. I take on more of, I guess, like a Buddhist ideology. Now, I am spiritual. I don't follow any specific religions and ideologies and stuff, but I do kind of lean into Buddhism a little bit more, traditional Chinese concepts, medicine and things like that, with like the yes and no. I mean, sorry. Oh my God. I just got so fucking confused. I have to stop looking at the chat. With yin and yang, negative, positive, shadow, light attributes. I do believe that depending on what one's definition of chosen one is, but if you are a guide, for example, I do believe that toxic positivity can be quite detrimental to spread, to practice, and consistently only dabbling in things like shadow work can have you miss out on life, right? Which can also be to one's detriment. I do believe that we are to focus on all aspects of the human experience and be both. You know, I think that a balanced teacher, guide, or chosen one is the healthiest approach. I'm going to just kind of say it in that regard. You could be anything that it is that you want to be, but are you healthy? Are you happy? Are you teaching balance? Are we being delusional? You know? But yeah, just like slight rampage with the whole chosen one. I don't understand, like, who chosen by whomst? Is it a particular calling? Is it like a deity or a god that goes, you? Is it really 144,000? And is that 144,000, is that at once? Like, what are we talking about here? You know, I believe that we choose ourselves, to be honest. We either choose the path of spirituality or whatever, and we walk that path authentically. But I don't think that, like, I don't know. There are certain titles, I think, that I just kind of cock my head at a little bit. Like, I'm like, who chose you and for what? Like, did you choose this? That's great. Like, but again, I got different perspectives on that shit. I like to be a little bit humble, you know? Not saying that you're not. I'm just kind of venting and sharing my perspectives here. Latoya, yeah. Yes, you can. I did promise Rhi, so I'm going to tap in. Ryker, I don't know. Hopefully I answered that question. That wasn't really much of a channeling. I feel like that was like super generalized. But nevertheless, thank you for asking. And I hope I answered that clear enough. Excuse chosen once, apologies for that. Something I saw in a vid, my spiritual path I've come to learn. I have guides on both sides. Okay. So yeah. Okay. And like you don't have to excuse anything. It's just again, there's certain verbiage out here in the spiritual community that I'm just like, is that egotistical? Is that like, what's this based on? Like, I kind of like to also dabble into more of like a scientific, realistic quantum physics type of approach, you know, where it could be like quantified and be like, you know, like, does this make sense? Like, you know, but anyways, yes. I also have guides on both sides, so to speak. Actually, I got more that a lot of people would perceive as like darker guides. But I don't believe that's the case at all. But again, it depends on your perception of things, right? I do believe that it's healthy to have a balance in practice. And you're also allowed to deny particular guides, intuitive prompts, and things like that, right? Like just because, let's say, a guide urges you to do something or learn something. By do something, I'm not at all preaching here any sort of delusions or anything like that, right? When we pray, we obtain some sort of information. You do not ever have to act on that, whether it is good or bad, whatever that might mean to one person at any point, right? It's the question of values and morals really change per person based on our own perceptions, based on our own upbringings, and so much more. And a balance is great. I think that we should look into ourselves. We should do like the dark shadow work. We should acknowledge the horrors in the world and not neglect that. And we should never lose ourselves so much to that it deprives us of our ability to live and be blessed as well, you know, and heal. Sometimes people really love the light and love kind of bits so much so that once a crash comes, they plunder, you know, because we're neglecting the duality of the human experience. And a lot of times people, I've noticed in the spiritual community, preach so highly that the duality doesn't exist. It doesn't outside of the human experience, but so much of the human experience is, in fact, duality. We're made up of yin and yang, masculine, feminine energy. These aren't just concepts. Like this is again kind of where I bring in traditional Chinese medicine or traditional Indian medicine. There are so many different ways that we view even like our brains, left side and right side. You know what I mean? Like we got a lot of duality in play here. So I believe balancing that out to our best personal abilities is 10 out of 10. So yes, your guides could be made up of both. It depends who it is that your guides are. You can keep that to yourself. I tend to keep mine to myself too, for the most part. But yeah, grew up in a religion where I was taught to suppress my darkness. Spirituality taught me to accept my dark side. Now my guides want me to balance it out with my light. Exactly. So I believe that, I mean, if there was a right path, you're on it. So I think you're great with it. I do. I think that's awesome. Hold on. I'm just going to do Latoya real quick, and then I'm going to jump to your general reading, okay? I'm so sorry, because I know I said that you're next. Sorry. When I connect and disconnect to people's energy, I go through a whirlwind of an experience here. So like that was fucking gross. Latoya, are you talking about your period? Because like, which part of your menstrual cycle? I guess I just want a little bit more clarity here. I'm hearing something about the 24th. Like I'm looking at the 25th, and then I'm getting a prompt to do this. So that's like one down. So 24th, there's something about the 24th for you. Is that your period day? Are you expecting? I don't know what's happening here, but the 24th. So I guess that's a yes. Okay. Yeah, there's something about the 24th. Can you come back on the 24th and let me know? I've never had a question like this come up. That's so fun. Do you use any apps? I use an app. What app do I use? Stardust, I think it's called. Stardust. Yeah, I track my cycle and like all of my symptoms and everything. I have endometriosis as well as adenomyosis. And so I track all of my symptoms, everything that I feel throughout my entire cycle. And that app has been 10 out of 10. Plus it actually like you got like some cute pop-ups that are like really witty and like they make me laugh personally. So thank you. So if my energy came across as arrogant, you're not the only one. I'm confident. You did not come across as arrogant at all, by the way. Not to me. Maybe it's just my bluntness. But no, you're totally fine. You're 10 out of 10 in my books. And you're very welcome, Latoya. Sorry, I keep like going back and forth here. But yeah, let me know if you're willing. Okay. See, you're retracting these messages there too, so that's totally fine. 24th, noted. Okay. Hi, baby. Anyone else in here, by the way? I don't know who else is in here, but if no one else pops up in for a reading, then I'm just gonna close it off with you, Bex. You said general. Anything specifical? I'm getting pulled to the unfolding path tarot for you. I'm actually getting pulled to a deck. Wow, I've just been channeling in for you guys more than anything. First card out for you, is the Justice card. I'll show it in a hot second. What card is this? We have the 8 of Wands and the 5 of Swords. I'm going to tell you something you don't want to hear. Okay? Just a little warning. There's plans of a visit or a trip, and I believe it's not exactly, it's gonna fall through. Okay, I got the Justice card with the 8 of Wands. I'm getting a conversation between you and a person, of a visit, of a travel, lots of communication, wanting to balance things out, quote unquote, make things right. And then it turns into the 5 of Swords with the Chariot. So something about the distance, the energy is there. The actual trip, the actual voyage, vehicle, whether it be train, car, airplane, whatever the flying fuck. It could be due to money. It could be due to holding back. Could be due to things that aren't exactly foretold, because they're kept really close to the chest. So all I'm saying is don't put all your eggs in one basket. And prepare for potential disappointment or another delay or something. I don't know if you can hear the angry dog bark in the back, but that kind of contributes to the energy that I'm sensing here for you. It's kind of uncomfortable, I guess, for lack of better words. I hear my snaps. I got nothing else for you, babe. July 4th. I think it's going to be further than that. Something's up. So I guess sometimes like these things kind of happen and come up. Sorry, I got completely kicked out of your energy. Spirit was like, that's it. That's the message. So my darling, I don't want to say prepare for a disappointment or anything, right? But just again, be prepared for anything, right? And don't cling on to specific outcomes so much. Things happen for a reason, blah, 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 cliches that I could input here. But sometimes delays are good. It's not rejection. It's protection. Over what? I don't know. I'm not saying or implying that you're unsafe in any way. I just mean that there's going to be a delay. I keep fucking rhyming and shit. Yeah, not the best. I got the 9 of Swords when I just cut the deck. Are you okay? Did I just fuck up your day? Can I stop rhyming? I'm so sorry. I swear I didn't do that on purpose. You can DM me, by the way, if you'd like to chat a little bit more about that. Hate to leave you like this, babe. Hate to leave you like this at all. Oh my God, I just cut the deck again and we have the 8 of Swords. Can you get out of your thoughts? Get out of your thoughts. Okay, into your body. Feel through. It doesn't mean that what it is that I just said is the final. Maybe double check. Okay, triple check. Reiterate. Confirm. Get proof. Get proof. Book the ticket. Cool. Let me see a snapshot of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I love you. I love everybody else and everybody else who had joined in. I hope this was pretty cool for all y'all. I don't know. I'll be seeing you guys on Sundays. It's a pretty chill vibe. So hopefully more and more people will be able to start jumping on in. For now, I'm doing it on Sundays. Before I used to rotate between Sundays and Saturdays. I gotta like really stick to a particular day so I cannot overwhelm myself and overcomplicate certain things. It's just the process that I'm on right now. Spirit's like, girl, you better be fucking specific now. So this is me being specific to Sundays for y'all. Check me out on other social medias. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok. Okay, I'm also going to be going live there. I'm also on Patreon where y'all can get much extended readings. Like I do extended general readings on there for one VIP member a week every Thursday. So yeah, I hope that our chit chats helped and resonated with anyone who needed it. Thank you so much for the newcomers. Thank you for those whom are my soul fam already and you just support me so much. Like I see you and I love you. You know that already. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. All right. Peace. Bye.